Sunday action on match day 12 of the MLS Next Pro season. Happy to have you with us tonight on MLSNextPro.com from Drive Pink Stadium in Fort Lauderdale as Inter Miami CF2 hosts Toronto FC2. I'm Joe Malfa with you this evening, and it's a meeting of two teams who have been in a very similar way over the last few weeks. They're similarly constructed. They go young in terms of the age of their players typically, and they find themselves in a similar portion of the standings right now. Only a 3-point lead for Inter Miami over Toronto, who have 2 games in hand right now in that pack toward the bottom half of the Eastern Conference, where everything's sort of tangled up. Who can make this sort of run now as we head into the summer? Inter Miami coming off of an impressive victory in the last one against Cincinnati. It stopped a very difficult drought for the club. They were winless in the last 5 matches, and they had a 373-minute goalless drought before they erupted for 3 in the 3-1 victory over Cincinnati. On the other side, this Toronto team, up and down May. They won 2 of their first 3 matches in the month of May before losing the last 2. Then they opened June with a big 3-0 victory over Orlando City B, and that's a team that has been solid all year long. An impressive win for Toronto. The question is, can they stay consistent? Can they repeat now here this week against another Floridian opponent? Take a look at the starting 11s for both of these clubs. Inter Miami just played on Thursday, and they only make 3 changes from that starting 11. Israel Boatwright, Ezekiel Abadiareda come in as the wingbacks, and 1 change in the midfield. That's a big one. Alejandro Flores gets his first career start. 17-year-old academy product. Previously just had 2 appearances for 34 minutes. We'll see how he fares today. On the other side, for Toronto FC, they have 2 loanees in from the first team today. That's Temi Antonoglu on the left side and Gregory Ranjit Singh in goal. Outside of that, a lot of the familiar faces who have gotten them to where they are this year. Rashawn Walks on the right side has 2 goals. Julian Altobelli up top has 2 goals. Can they find those guys and get them clicking along with Jesus Batiz, who's the big gun? 4 goals in 10 starts this season. Ready for the action now at Drive Pink Stadium. It's Inter Miami in the black with pink trim from left to right, and Toronto in the white from right to left. Your referee today in charge in the red is John Rush, who sets the watch, blows the whistle, and sends us on our way. Match day 12 of the MLS Next Pro season. Happy to have you along tonight on MLSNextPro.com. Owen Finnerty gets another starting goal for Inter Miami. Just his 4th of the season. 7 goals allowed, 4 saves. Hasn't been tested all that much. It's a pretty quiet night for him the other night against Cincinnati. That 3-1 victory. Tyler Hall. Izzy Boatwright is just away at the U20 World Cup with Dominican Republic. Boatwright, Flores. Inter Miami, very much a possession-based side here in MLS Next Pro. Toronto, more run and gun. Good in possession, Toronto, but not afraid to be direct and use the flanks through Batiz, through Walks. Settled in the midfield. And Theo Rogopoulos. Now Rashawn Walks. Through to Altobelli. Stojadinovic. Played inside to Batiz, flashes it across. And it's just beyond the reach of Altobelli. How quickly they could turn it into something offensively, Toronto. Gianni Cimini, head coach of this TFC 2 side, spent the week talking about repeating. That's been the issue this year for Toronto. When they have a good performance, when they have a good week of training, can they show the consistency and desire to repeat the next time out after that 3-0 impressive victory over Orlando City B?
Come around.
Just felt the desire to change was different in the Orlando match last week. This team wanted to go ahead and get out of that little rut they had been in. Different attitude around the training ground. Can it be carried into this one against Inter Miami? Stefanovic making his 10th start of the season, anchoring that back line. Ahead to Batiz, who came over from Rochester this season. Batiz working on Boatwright, and it's out for a goal kick. This June, MLS Next Pro is happy to celebrate Pride Month and support our LGBTQ fans and community. The beautiful game is for everyone. Abadi Herrera has a goal to his name this season. In and out of the lineup, the 17-year-old. Boatwright. Some space here for Miles Perkovic. End line, centers it to the penalty spot. That's how they scored their first goal on a Thursday night. On that right side, centering pass. Lucas Meek scored the opener. Came 4 minutes in. That was after 373 minutes, over 4 matches without a goal. Batiz. Taken by Flores. Now Hall. It'll remain Inter Miami's possession. Bottom of your screen, Gianni Cimini giving out the instructions for Toronto. Despite the up and down start to the season, he's very happy with some of the underlying metrics. Expected goals for, expected goals against, all mostly positive. I feel in the long run things will start to shake out their way in terms of the results, and he was complimentary of Inter Miami in that same regard, where he feels this team is better than the record shows. Performances have been there. And another aspect of the equation Inter Miami has had to deal with, they've had their roster rated in a way by the first team. Last couple of weeks, ever since Javier Morales took over for Phil Neville at the first team level, he's had about 5 players in his game day roster who had been with the MLS Next Pro team to begin the season. A couple of those starters, a couple of those on the bench, and now this week he added to that. Edison Ascona was a name who hadn't really been with the first team, a mainstay here for the second team, who's now been up with the first team lately. Look out, given away by Ranjit Singh. Here's Lucas Meek looking in front, and Ranjit Singh got his right foot to it, cleaned up the mess he made. This weekend, you added 2 more names to that list for Inter Miami. Lawson Sunderland and Israel Boatwright, who were both in the starting 11 today, were with the first team in New England on loan. Traveled back in last night and now starting today. Batiz, Altabelli. Here's Batiz once more. And harmlessly out for a goal kick. Cimini applauded the ability of Inter Miami to have already sent those players through to the first team, and very proud of the track record for Toronto in that same regard. You look at their first team this year in MLS, you see a handful of familiar faces who had either been with the Next Pro side this year or last year. Said it's in the name of the league itself, Next Pro. His job is to find the next pro on the team to go through the first team. It's a way to measure success beyond the wins and losses. He's very happy with the return so far. Stefanovic anchored Canada's backline at the U17 level back in February in the CONCACAF Under-17 Championship. Stefanovic, the captain, started 6 games. Finnerty. Given away to Antonoglu. Demi Antonoglu with Altobelli. Julian Altobelli to his left foot. Saved by Finnerty. Quick shot from a tough angle by Altobelli. Rogopoulos opens up on the right side. Toronto settling into some possession here. Stefanovic for Perlman. It's been a rock for this side last year and this year, Perlman. 22 starts last season, making his 10th here this season tonight. Finnerty. Could be trouble for Boatwright, but takes it down off the chest very well. Boatwright not afraid to carry up the right side. I think the wingbacks to join the attack and be involved. Harvey Neville in the position occupied now by Boatwright. Sprung the first goal of the match for Inter Miami on Thursday. And the assist to Lucas Meek. Leaves the team with 4 goals, Lucas Meek. Hasn't gotten it out his way yet on the left wing today. Abadi Herrera. Brian Destin, brilliant turn, fighting off Perlman. Puts it into space for Boatwright. Israel Boatwright serves it, back post, headed away by Rogopoulos, who's fouled in the process. Collision with Meek. 10 minutes in, a couple of half-hearted chances both ways, but nothing all too dangerous. Still scoreless at Dry Pink Stadium. Loaded to Stojadinovic. Taken by Boatwright. Tyler Hall, 17-year-old, starting to get more and more run with this side after starring at the U17 tournament this February for the United States. Another action unfolding simultaneously here. Orlando hosting Cincinnati. Plenty more to come as the day grows older. Finnerty. Sunderland dropping in deep. Very difficult to play through this high press of Toronto. Almost won back there by Anton Walks. Got 2 lines of 3 just smothering you in your own half as you try to play it out. Boatwright. Looking long for Destin. Should be a confident man today. Went ahead and scored his first professional goal on Thursday night. You can see the relief on his face as he celebrated it. Had been brewing for a while, just hadn't fallen for him that night as Meek goes to his left foot, backside to Boatwright, tried to pass it in, but it was blocked by Stefanovic and out for a corner. Looked like Ranjit Singh might have had it covered anyway. Destin had 2 or 3 opportunities in the match against Cincinnati on Thursday before he finally did score. It took him until his 11th professional appearance to get his first goal. Now from the corner, it's sent his way. Almost fell for Destin. Perkovic delivers. Ranjit Singh has it. Appearances few and far between for Ranjit Singh over the last couple of years. Was the #1 keeper for Louisville City FC in USL Championship from 2015 to 2018. 90 appearances, almost half of those clean sheets. Given away here by Toronto. Destin pulls it through. Destin squares it back for Flores and taken away by Perlman. Ever since then, Ranjit Singh, he's been a pool keeper in MLS, where he saw brief stints in emergency situations for LAFC, Philadelphia, among others. Finally picked up on a permanent basis by Toronto last year. Hasn't seen time between the sticks with the first team. 6 appearances last year in Next Pro, and today making his 2023 MLS Next Pro debut in goal. This portion of the match is brought to you by AutoNation, the official automotive retailer and dealership of Inter Miami. Siramancic out wide to Walks. Lucas Meek claiming he was hindered in the process of getting to the ball by Rogopoulos. No call made. Had a couple of words with John Rush, our referee. The ball carved through the back line of Inter Miami. Right to Finnerty, no threat. 2 shots, 1 on target. Combined between these teams, nearly 16 minutes in. Very slow feeling out process so far here in Fort Lauderdale. Happy to have you along tonight on MLSNextPro.com. Boatwright. Ranjit Singh almost for a second time got himself in trouble with a slow touch. And Perkovic commits the needless foul. Nearly 60% of the possession so far going Inter Miami's way. Toronto not a team who necessarily needs the ball to thrive. So good in transition, so good in their high press to turn you over. You don't typically see them get outpossessed to this degree. It's always interesting when 2 teams come together who play such similar styles. Who prevails? What exactly are the little differences on the day that lead your side to prevail when they're playing a similar way? It comes down so often to just the individual battles in respective positions. And right now the midfield's being controlled by Inter Miami. So too is the possession as a result. Meek. Perkovic has the overlap of Boatwright and sends him on a little run. Israel Boatwright Flicks it along to Perkovic. Hospital ball. And it's last off of Perkovic. Throw for Toronto. These teams have met a bunch before, and in different competitions as well. Dating back to USL League One before they made the switch to MLS Next Pro. Overall series controlled by Inter Miami, but very slightly. Teams have met 6 times, 3 wins for Inter Miami, 2 wins for Toronto, and a draw. 12-9-3 last year, Toronto. Eastern Conference finalists. Haven't found that form yet, and again, it just goes back to the double-edged sword of the goals of this league. Yes, you want to win. You also want to send players up to the first team. Rogopoulos had it blocked. As they had the success in Next Pro last year, so many of those faces have graduated on a near-permanent basis to the first team. A couple of exceptions here or there, like Antonoglu coming down today. On the ball now. When you lose that kind of talent, so too go the results in a way. Brian Destin breaks free, all alone. It's Destin off the post. What an individual effort to win it at midfield, carry it 30-40 yards, muscle off another defender and create the shot. Off the post, just missed his second goal in as many games. Attack not over yet. Over the top to Perkovic. He can't contain it. Just a fight there for Destin. Took his time. Beat the keeper, but unable to beat the post. You can see why they're so high on him and why Haiti is so high on him as well. Was the youngest player at last summer's under-20 championship in CONCACAF. Played for Haiti as a 16-year-old. Went on to start 3 matches this year in February for the U17 team in the CONCACAF under-17 championship. Have to search high and wide for many players throughout CONCACAF who starred in both of those tournaments over the span of 9 months, the U20s and then the U17s. Stojadinovic. Antonoglu. Simermancic out wide for Rogopoulos. Laid back to Simermancic. Batiz. Wanted the give and go with Altobelli. Had trouble with the first touch. Antonoglu looking for Batiz. Antonoglu. Kuric The longest spell of possession Toronto's had today at any point. Here's Rigopoulos. Chip through to Walks, well read by Abadiareda. Meek, back for Abadiareda, and Inter Miami will settle things down. This portion of the match brought to you by Florida Blue, official health insurance of Inter Miami. Finnerty just waiting for somebody to show. Abadiareda has to hustle to keep it in. And now Destin holds up the play. Left it short on the pass back for Meek. Ranjit Singh has had some trouble playing out of the back today. Plays it simply there. Rigopoulos looking for Walks. It's been a battle so far between Abadiareda and Anton Walks. Flores tried the early ball for Destin. Rashawn Walks has been terrific in short spurts so far for Toronto as the flag comes up. Walks, last year 6 goals and an assist in 19 appearances. This year, just his 7th appearance today, 4th start, has 2 goals. 23-year-old from Brampton, Ontario. 3rd round pick of the club back in 2022. Seen either Rashawn Walks or Jesus Batiz on the right and left sides, respectively, as involved as Toronto would probably like. Here is Batiz dropping deep to get involved. Tries the 1-2. You've seen them each pop up in a couple of good areas here and there through 25 minutes, but so much of the attack for this team flows down those flanks, whether it's Walks, whether it's Batiz. 4 goals, 1 assist for Batiz this season. As I mentioned, 2 goals for Walks in limited playing time so far. Stojanovic. Rigopoulos won't get there. There are games where you have a feeling out process between teams who like to possess, and then there's this one, which just has taken it to the extreme so far. We've seen back and forth bouts of possession. Now it's Toronto with a slight edge in that category after it was nearly 60-40 Inter Miami's way. And all that told, we have 3 shots, 1 on target so far. 1 on cork there by Antonoglu, but blocked. Ryan Destin on the ball now. Has the best chance of the day, hit the post for Inter Miami. Finnerty just had the 1 casual save to make so far. Given away. Sarsar, careless mistake. Will they pay for it? No. Finnery the save. Rebound put wide. It finally took a mistake to open things up offensively one way or the other. Fareed Sarsar, one of the veterans in this 11 for Inter Miami. Just a careless giveaway. Julian Altobelli put it too close to the keeper. And then Walks put it wide. Sometimes the key to break through the lock of a match like this is simply a mistake. Nearly had it. Finnery just sends this one long. Meek kept it alive. Stojadinovic all the way back to Ranjit Singh. Now a giveaway on Toronto's end. Boatwright. Sunderland. Good turn again by Destin. It's out to Flores and blocked by Perlman. That's an area of Destin's game where just at 17 years old, he's already so far ahead. Just a knack for being able to put the body in, make the turn, use his body as a shield. You saw it on his chance he created from near midfield all the way in alone. Saw it there. Boatwright. Earlier match today, Columbus beat Crown Legacy 2-1. There are 3 matches set to kick off at the 7 o'clock Eastern window. Huntsville hosting St. Louis, Minnesota hosting Houston, and New York City FC hosting New York Red Bulls. 2 more then in the 7:30 hour. LAFC hosting Colorado Rapids. San Jose Earthquakes hosting Tacoma Defiance. And then the late kickoff of the evening at 8 p.m. Eastern is New England hosting Chicago. All told, 9 matches on the day here in MLS Next Pro as we bring match day 12 to its conclusion. Hall. Back to Finnerty. Finnerty through the middle. Caputo under some pressure. Now wide to Abadi Herrera. They had some issues breaking through this press Inter Miami, but the reason you toil in that regard is because when you break it, that's when they found their most opportunities and the most space. Didn't work out this time. It's right back to Toronto. And this portion of the match brought to you by Baptist Health, official medical provider of Inter Miami. Goals elsewhere. Orlando up 2-0 on Cincinnati. 1.5 an hour into things as well. Rashawn Walks. Theo Regopoulos. To do better than that in the end. Destin again, able to shield the ball, find the teammate. Abadi Herrera. Looking long for Flores. Anthony Curich Just made his MLS debut back on May 14th, Curich. Hasn't seen a regular run of play yet with the first team. Making his 9th start here tonight for the second team. Ranjit Singh. Lucas Meek will keep it in. Played over the top for Jesus Batiz. Batiz, 1v1 with Boatwright. Batiz and line delivery in front. It was loose after Finnerty got his left hand on it. Stole a goal away from Rashawn Walks, who was waiting at the back post. Unfortunate, his teammate came to the aid to clear it. That was a certain goal at the back post for Walks. And now a free kick for Toronto in a good spot. Altabelli, Antonoglu standing over it. Antonoglu the left-footed option, Altabelli the right-footed option. Not a bad area to try a surprise shot near post if you're Altabelli. We'll go with the service. It's out for a goal kick. Just doesn't seem to be a willingness yet from either of these teams to be more direct, to open things up, to find a way through. Played into Altabelli. Perkovic has some space down this right side. Crowd senses it. Perkovic carries. Now it's Destin. Brian Destin back to Perkovic. Rogopoulos. Ahead to Rashawn Walks. Walks got past Abadiareda, but not Sunderland. Under 10 to play now in half number one. Miami still searching for its first shot on goal of the match. Hit the post once through Destin. Altabelli for Batiz. Saved by Finnerty. Not enough on it in the end from Batiz. Tried to pass it to the far post, but still have to get a little more on it. You could see where his mind was at. Hoping to perfectly place it, and it might have been off that post and in. He did get the precision, but not enough power. Meek has the run of Sunderland. Here's Lawson. Sunderland has Destin backside. Sunderland still, and scoring is Lawson Sunderland. A day after he was with the first team in New England, he starts here and scores for the second match in a row. A perfect strike past Ranjit Singh to give Inter Miami the lead. A half that had just been begging for one of these teams to break out, be more direct after so much possession. First shot on target of the match for Inter Miami, and they take a 1-0 lead. Third goal of the season for Sunderland.
Bro, get it down, man.
You can see the quality in a loss in Sunderland, why he was getting a look on loan to the first team this weekend in New England. Javi Morales familiar with the academy and the pathway from the academy through Next Pro up to the first team. Jesus Batiz, a great move past Boatwright. Batiz tried to go for goal and do it alone. Had been 373 minutes for Inter Miami without a goal before they erupted for 3 against Cincinnati on Thursday. He wondered if they'd be able to carry that over, or if it would be back to more of the same. Tough to judge in the first half exactly which side of the coin they'd be on there. Up until the goal, they hadn't yet had a shot on target, but hit the post, generated a couple of positive-looking attacks, and the same can't really be said of the stretch of play they had where they weren't scoring. They weren't generating shots. They weren't generating shots on target. They weren't generating positive looks, positive motions forward. So looking tonight more like they did against Cincinnati, despite still a low shot on target total. Can add to that here, Perkovic. Closing minutes of half number 1. Miles Perkovic back to his right foot. Centers it, looking for Sunderland. After losing 3-0 to Toronto last week, Orlando has a 3-0 lead of its own. Up 3-0 right now in the first half against Cincinnati. And the other match going on. For Toronto, after that offensive explosion against Orlando, where's it gone so far today? Best looks they've had have been bred from Inter Miami mistakes. Toronto have yet to actually punish Inter Miami for one of those mistakes. Boatwright. Perkovic. And Flores promising here. Flores in front, loose for Ranjit Singh to grab. Through all the traffic. Good goalkeeping, brave goalkeeping. Perlman is pressured by Meek, got it along to Rigopoulos. Stojadinovic. Batiz. Well, it takes us into our... Is it a hydration break? We weren't communicated anything. It's worse news. It's a weather delay in the area. I was about to say it's a little late for a hydration break, just 2.5 minutes to halftime. But the answer is a weather delay. Such is life this time of year in South Florida. So Inter Miami goes into a break right before halftime. So close we were, 2.5 minutes, with a 1-0 lead, courtesy of Lawson Sunderland. And now we wait and see. Up to Mother Nature. skies have cleared. We're ready to play again at Dry Pink Stadium after a 55-minute delay. Back to the action with just over 42 minutes gone on the clock here in Fort Lauderdale. Joe Malfa with you on MLSNextPro.com for this matchup between Inter Miami and Toronto. Again, we had that 55-minute delay, and being so close to halftime, teams came together and, speaking with match officials, agreed there will be no official halftime here. They're going to play the last 2 minutes or so of this half, and they're going to go into a 5-minute quasi-hydration break, then switch ends and play half number 2, and we're back to the action. Inter Miami with a 1-0 lead. One sub to get you from the break. It's Lucas Olguin checking in, or Theo Rogopoulos on the Toronto side. That will not count as one of their substitution windows, since that technically counts as a halftime sub with the way things are going. Just keep that in mind as we go into the second half. They will still have all 3 windows to use their final 4 subs. And before we left things with a weather delay, we were starting to see the game open up a little bit. First 35 minutes were just back and forth, possession-based soccer, neither team giving an inch, and it seems like we picked up where we left off. Things opening up here, walks to the back post, and over everybody. Finally took a nice counterattack from Inter Miami, being very direct about it to unlock things. Lawson Sunderland ended up with the goal. So much of the action in that half had just been both teams really playing around the back line, playing in the midfield. No real initiative in the attack. What you get when you have 2 teams very similar in style. Their intent to possess. The goal seemed to have woken things up, and then Mother Nature shut it back down for nearly an hour. See how long it takes this one to rediscover that rhythm. 11 shots altogether, 7 for Toronto, 4 for Inter Miami. 3 on target for Toronto, just 1 for Inter Miami being the goal, but I should have to say the 2 best chances of the day belong to Inter Miami. Of course, the goal, and another that hit the post. There's the Brian Destin. 3 saves made at the other end by Owen Finnerty for Inter Miami. Came on shots from Toronto that weren't all that threatening. Didn't have to make any world-class type of save. All 3 right at him in nature. Now wide to Rashawn Walks. Walks looking through for Olguin. Who has it now? Lucas Olguin. Clock reads 45 into our 1 minute of stoppage time. And then again, a 5-ish minute quasi-hydration break. Teams will switch ends and begin half number 2. No sense in going back to another 15-plus minute halftime after a 55-minute layoff. Glad to see the teams came together and agreed upon it. Stefanovic. And Tenoglu curls one back post over the head of Altobelli. And it's out for a throw-in as it curled all the way off the deflection from Tyler Hall. The stoppage time has come and gone. Last chance perhaps for Antonoglu. On his left foot, Antonoglu pushes to Batiz. Jesus Batiz unable to get past Bolt-Wright. Ball trickling, end line stays in. Batiz, Antonoglu. Bolt-Wright off of Batiz, handball. And that should bring us to our little break here. So again, teams will take 5 minutes, hydrate, and then switch ends before we begin half number 2. So after 45, more than that when you factor in the weather delay, it's a 1-0 lead for Inter Miami. And with that, we will take a look on the spotlight of match day 11 kick it over to Michelle Montaigne.
Hey guys, it's Michelle with MLS Next Pro. We're back with Matchday 11's Spotlight. Kicking things off for us is your MLS Next rising star. It is North Texas SC's Anthony Ramirez. The honor comes following his spectacular performance against LA Galaxy 2. In just his 5th appearance with the club, he helped lead them to their 5th win of the season. He notched his first professional brace and did it within a span of 6 minutes. The MLS Next Pro player of Matchday 11 with a similarly impressive performance, posting 2 goals in just 2 minutes. Atlanta United 2's Nick Firmino earns the player of Matchday 11 honor. His brace and 1 assist added to Atlanta's 5-0 win over Inter Miami 2, posting the biggest goal differential of the match day. Firmino now ranks 2nd among all MLS Next Pro top goal scorers with 7 total goals on the season. And speaking of goals, the best goal of Matchday 11 goes to Crew 2's Isaiah Parente. Parente finds the back of the net off a free kick that sails past an entire wall of defenders and past Fire 2's keeper. The goal also came in the last moments of extra time to cut the goal differential in half, earning 41% of the votes for Matchday 11. As for this week's team in the spotlight, that goes to a very deserving New York Red Bulls 2. After their 4-1 victory over one of the best teams in the Eastern Conference, Revs 2, Red Bulls 2 earned their 4th win in 5 games. Getting things started just 4 minutes into the match was Academy standout Julian Hall, who at just 15 years old became the youngest goal scorer ever in team history. The team now sits in 3rd place in the Eastern Conference. A full week of play, a full list of honorees in the spotlight. We'll see you back here soon.
There will be a lot to discuss in the Matchday 12 spotlight. So much around the league. And I'll bring it to an end here today. Over the next couple of hours, take a look back at half number 1 highlights from this one between Toronto and Inter Miami. Again, a half marked by just a lot of possession back and forth. And it finally started to break out around the half-hour mark. Brian Destin, 28th minute, comes in after a terrific turn at midfield, put it off the post. A few moments later, mistake by Inter Miami. Terrible giveaway by Farid Sarsar. Gives this chance to Altobelli. Second effort for Walks, put wide. That was the best real opportunity of the first half on the Toronto side. A little up, back, and through here from Inter Miami. Got it out to Meek on the far side. Lawson Sunderland had some space, had the option of Destin on the pass across, but Sunderland takes it himself, scores for the 2nd match in a row, and put them up 1-0. Going into what became our weather delay / halftime. Teams are in this little hydration break right now and then set to begin the 2nd half in just a moment. First, we'll remind you of the stats from that first half. 7 shots to 4, 3 on target to 1 in Toronto's favor. But it never really felt like they were the more threatening team of that half. That title belonged to Inter Miami, and they have the 1-0 lead. We'll see how things unfold in half number 2. Once this game rediscovers that rhythm and momentum it had in the final 10 minutes before the weather delay, it could be in for a treat here. But the early stages really, really slow. 2 teams feeling each other out. I think that feeling out process is a thing of the past. These teams are ready to open it up more in half number 2 from what we've seen as of late. Inter Miami in the black with pink trim from right to left. Toronto in the white from left to right. John Rush, the referee, ball in hand. Sun streaming through onto the field. A sight for sore eyes after a near hour weather delay. What you missed while we've been gone, a number of other matches kicking off around the league in the 7 o'clock and 7:30 windows. Orlando near the conclusion of a 4-0 victory over Cincinnati. That one kicked off the same time as ours did. Now we're ready to begin our 2nd half. Just that one official change from Toronto coming out of the weather delay. And underway at half number 2 here at Drive Pink Stadium in Fort Lauderdale. Joe Malfa with you on MLSNextPro.com as we bring Matchday 12 to its conclusion over the next couple of hours. Since we took that weather delay, Huntsville kicked off at home against St. Louis, and it's St. Louis on the road up 2-1 at halftime. Houston Dynamo up 3-0 on the road against Minnesota at halftime. NYCFC up 2-1 at home against New York Red Bulls at halftime. In the last 15 minutes, we saw a kick between LAFC and Colorado out in Los Angeles, still scoreless. And also San Jose just kicked off against Tacoma, still scoreless. Final kickoff will happen coming up in about 15 minutes as New England hosts Chicago. 9 matches today to bring match day 12 to a close. It's Olguin. Give and go, edge of the area. That's Simermancic. It's Inter Miami who comes away with it. Sent long to Destin. He'll get there. A glance over his shoulder to see where the support comes from. Doesn't have much of it. Late arriving, the Cavalry. So Inter Miami still all 5 subs remaining and 3 windows. Toronto 4 subs remaining and all 3 windows still, because they made that one change coming directly out of the weather delay. Does not count as one of their moments, being that that was our de facto halftime. Meek. Abadia Reda took a deflection. There wasn't much that Ranjit Singh would have been able to do about it. Watched it helplessly as it went over top of him and out for a corner. All from a good long ball by Owen Finnerty. Goalkeeper getting involved with the outlet. Abadia Reda called into camps last summer with the United States under-17s. Didn't make the cut. 17-year-old from Davie, Florida, has 1 goal on the season today. Made his 4th start, 10th appearance overall. Really good left foot on these services. Goes short with it. Boatwright. Hall. Looking back to Abadia Reda, and the offside flag comes up. When corner routines go that far right, makes you wonder, why not just have a direct go of it? Stefanovic walks. Rashawn walks, battling Abadia Reda. It's been a great battle all day. Walks to the end line, taken down. Penalty. Very delayed decision by John Rush. He really thought about it, perhaps conferring with his assistant referee. We'll have a look here. Walks, got past Abadia Reda. It's one that goes either way. Seen less given, seen more given. Jesus Batiz, ball in hand, will take the penalty. Has 4 goals on the season. That's how many he had all of last year in 24 matches with Rochester. He can best that total right now in just his 12th game. Bring Toronto back level. Owen Finnerty, hands on knees, staring it down from 12 yards out. Slow walk up from Batiz. Jesus Batiz just beyond the outstretched hand of Finnerty. We're level. It's his 5th of the season. And we've got a brand new game here at Dry Pink Stadium. All the hesitation, trying to send Finnerty the wrong way. Keeper guessed correctly. Need to be about an inch taller to keep it 1-0 Inter Miami. Abadiareda committed the foul for the penalty, now gives it away. Walks. Swung around by Stefanovic. And Tenoglu to Batiz. Jesus Batiz fresh off the penalty goal, looking for more. Sent away by Reed Sarsar. Tenoglu hits the switch. Walks. Looking back post for Batiz. Out for a goal kick. This portion of the match is brought to you by AutoNation, the official automotive retailer and dealership of Inter Miami. Altobelli, very free-flowing atop the line. Altobelli has played for this team on either wing, in as the 10, up as the 9. Just has the freedom to roam and create any way possible. Here's Destin. Flores calling for it centrally. Pulls up right in front of his coach, Federico Higuain. Destin rolls it back for Caputo. It's Hall. Now Boatwright. Sarsar wide for Meek. Tried to play one touch to Abadiareda. And Tenoglu through for Batiz. He'll run onto it. Flag stays down. Batiz saved by Finnerty. Had a chance for his second goal in just 3 minutes. First from the penalty spot, this one a breakaway. Finnerty nearly got to the penalty. He made sure to keep this one out. All of a sudden it's Toronto with the signs of life and the confidence. Looks like they're ready to make another change. Toronto just called over from the warm-up area. Jordan Faria. Play on as Walks was taken down. Olguin. Faria, bottom of your screen, very bottom. Just pulled on the jersey. So we'll see when that second change now will come for Toronto. Sean Walks on his way out of this one, so if his day is indeed done, he'll leave knowing he drew the penalty that drew this game level. He was very active in the first half, finally yielded something. Caputo wins it and laces into it. It was deflected, but stayed true. Ranjit Singh made the stop. And Faria, the 22-year-old, waiting in the wings. 2 goals, 1 assist on the season. He's made 8 starts. This will only be his 2nd time coming off the bench in a match. See what sort of impact he might have.
Come here, sir.
Finnerty, the massive stop on Batiz 4 minutes ago. Altabelli through for Walks. Rashawn Walks has Batiz backside, finds him almost. Did not miss connecting by much. That's the last touch of the match for Walks as he's subbed off here.
Sub is right behind you, so you're good. Perfect.
Herrera, heavy touch, almost lost it. Didn't want to lunge in, win it back. Herrera with it again. Gave it away again. Altabelli says thank you very much. Tried to turn it into a goal save by Finnerty. All of a sudden, Finnerty has been called upon with some frequency. He's answered each call aside from the penalty. Meek. Still Lucas Meek on his left foot. Miami just needs some of the ball back to alleviate some of that pressure on the back end. Finnerty from Walled Lake, Michigan. He's been on both sides of a big rivalry. Last year was at Michigan State, 2nd team All Big Ten. Previous 3 seasons at Michigan. Didn't see as much time there with Big Blue. Went over to Sparty. Became their regular starter last season. 75 saves in 16 starts. Signed by Inter Miami this past offseason. Up to 5 saves on the day. 2 of them highlight reel worthy. Nick Sesak getting ready to check in for Inter Miami as we approach the hour mark. That might indicate the day is done for either Abadi Herrera or Boatwright. Haven't seen Sesak stray from the wingback positions. Delivered to Destin, mishit it. Could be either of those players here. Abadi Herrera, a couple of mistakes the last few minutes. Israel Boatwright, after getting this start tonight, came on the heels of being called up to the first team and being available for the match yesterday against New England. So perhaps some rest in order. Sesak capable of playing both sides. We'll see who it is on the way out in just a moment. Mancic. Given away to Meek with Destin. Lucas Meek striding through, taken down, free kick. Yellow card issued to Stefanovic. The left foot of Abadi Areda might be an option here. Alejandro Flores, Brian Destin also standing over it. Looks like it'll be Flores or Destin. Flores making his first start of the season here. It is Flores right to Ranjit Singh. Would have been a nice way to punctuate your first start. Just 2 previous appearances off the bench, including an impressive stint on Thursday night against Cincinnati. The academy call-up. Came in, showed out well as they were playing down a man last 10-15 minutes. Provided a spark of control in the midfield. Showed some signs of danger going forward, even though they were down a man, Flores. Matiz couldn't get there before Sarsar. Altabelli's been dropping deeper last few minutes into that midfield to create. Now it's out wide for Faria. Jordan Faria. Top of the area for Altabelli. Julian Altabelli taken down. Free kick for Toronto now. At the other end, Inter Miami couldn't make the most of it. Now it's Toronto's turn. Concern as Sunderland's down. Immediate signal over to the trainers from his teammates and the referee. So he grabs that lower right leg. He has their goal today. Also scored the other night against Cincinnati. Altabelli pushed it past Sunderland right here. Lunged back in to try and win it. It looked like it just went over on his ankle. So Inter Miami now readying 2 subs, not just Nick Sesak, who hasn't had a chance to check in yet ever since he's been up and ready. Another player now joining him is Joseph Converse. But the concern is Sunderland, and I'm going to have to worry about making a sub here as well for him if he can't continue. Being told that Sunderland's day is done. Joseph Converse was getting set to check in for Alejandro Flores. They've since changed that to be a sub for Lawson Sunderland. There seemed to be great concern right away from his teammates and the referee as they came over to inspect the situation. Immediately call for the trainers, and he's being helped off. His goal back in the 38th minute gave Inter Miami the lead. It was his third of the year, second in as many games. Converse will make his 8th appearance of the season. It's the second time off the bench. And Sesak comes in for Nabadi Areta. His 13th appearance, 4th off the bench. Has 1 assist to his name this year, Sesak. Now after the injury and the subs, we return to the free kick that started this all. Altabelli and Tanoglu both standing over it. You've got that first initial wall of 5 men, all in black. Then you have a 3-man Toronto wall of sorts trying to screen the keeper. What does Toronto have cooked up here? Altabelli. Got Tyler Hall in the wall, out for a corner.
Good question. Good.
Altabelli from the corner, Finnerty misjudged it. Lucky on the back end that Perlman also misread it. Did take a touch for a Toronto throw. Simmermancic for Jesus Batiz, the goal scorer for Toronto, off a penalty. Batiz commits the foul. That penalty goal came in the 50th minute. This portion of the match brought to you by Florida Blue, the official health insurance of Inter Miami. Jesus Batiz picked up a yellow for his involvement in that challenge. Just over 20 minutes to play plus stoppage time here in Fort Lauderdale. Back to Finnerty. Meek heads it along. Destin gives chase with Perlman. Seemed for a moment like it might have been too heavy on the touch from Stojadinovic. Plays out of it, and now ahead to Batiz. Batiz and Boatwright have been battling all night long. Boatwright undercuts him here. Batiz over the top, commits the foul, has to be careful, just picked up the yellow moments ago.
Yeah, he's in front of me. The second one, yellow, greenish.
Back to Finnerty, look out. Not much room there in front of the line. that. Not much room before Lucas Olguin might have taken it off his foot. Back at the other end for Ranjit Singh, and he almost waited too long before Perkovic got there. Goalkeeper's inviting some pressure. Altabelli. Simermancic looking for Antonoglu. He'll get there. Fronted by Boatwright. Moved along to Stojadinovic and blocked by Perkovic. Back out to Antonoglu. Stays on side. Plays it in for Olguin. Lucas Olguin finds Kuric. Finnerty was frozen just watching it. It did take a touch. Out for a corner. Corner swung in, flicked along by Perlman. Sent to safety by Sesak. Only as far. Stojadinovic. Marko Stojadinovic over the top. Brought down by Altabelli. Even go with Perlman. Antonoglu out to Olguin. Looking through for Batiz. Finnerty could have picked it up. Elected to play with his feet. Much to the dismay of a couple of his teammates who looked at him a bit befuddled. Doesn't cost him in the end. Five matches without a win for Inter Miami before they took down Cincinnati on Thursday. Toronto coming off a 3-0 victory last week over Orlando. Began their month of June after an up and down month of May. They won 2 of their first 3 in May before losing the next 2. Here's Converse, right-footed shot. Oh, just high and wide. Quarter of an hour remains. Almost to Batiz. Boatwright able to knock it away. Santiago Morales checks in. This is his first appearance here this season. Son of now interim head coach Javier Morales. Santiago Morales has popped up on the radar already with the United States Youth National Team program. 6 friendlies he's played in for the U16s. Been in camps with the U17s. Also capped for the U15s. See what sort of impact Morales can have. Already one bottom of your screen. This is his first pro appearance for Inter Miami. And here's his first touch. Well taken off the chest from Owen Finnerty. Foul here against Stojanovic. Sesak. Morales was looking to turn, but Meek was fouled, and card is issued to Stojanovic. Morales will trigger the free kick. Morales well struck, back post. A couple of runners were waiting. Headed away. That Toronto back line. Dozen minutes to play before stoppage time, and perhaps kicks from the mark tonight. It was a penalty kick that tied things up at 1 back in the 50th minute. And that one may lead to several more if we get through the next dozen minutes. Still tied. Meek for Morales, flag stayed down. Morales headed away by Perlman. Headed back in by Converse. Out to midfield where Inter Miami controls. This portion of the match brought to you by Baptist Health, official medical provider of Inter Miami. Caputo switches. Brought down by Perkovic. In toward Boatwright. Converse and Caputo in the end both hit it. Miscommunication, but Sesak keeps it alive. Here's Converse. Angles it toward Boatwright. Sarsar. Once again, Farid Sarsar. Wide to Nick Sesak. Inter Miami on the front foot these last few minutes. Can they make it count? Sesak in toward Destin and blocked down by Perlman. Batiz keeps it in for now. And only for a moment. Trickled over the line. It'll be all for Julian Altobelli. Had a couple of dangerous moments up top in this one. Never had a real clear-cut chance to break through. Replaced by Matthew Catavalo. Catavalo, 1 goal, 2 assists on the season. Making his 8th appearance here. Only his 3rd off the bench. Yellow card to Destin. You've got Batiz, Stojadinovic, Stefanovic all on yellows for Toronto. Now Destin with one for Inter Miami. Nice turn by Batiz. Catavalo looking back for Batiz. It was just behind him. Given away by Morales. Zimmermancic through. Catavalo was hoping to get a shot off as he switched it over to the left foot, but instead commits the foul. Finished 4-0 in Orlando's favor. Match that kicked off the same time as ours way back when, except theirs didn't have a 55-minute weather delay. That's why we carry on. Huntsville at home against St. Louis, 2-2 their level right now with 25 to play. Houston up 3-1 on the road against Minnesota with 25 to play. And at that same juncture, it's 2-1 NYCFC over the New York Red Bulls. Great touch by Meek into space, but cut out by Perlman. And the matches that kicked off a bit later. Scoreless at the half between LAFC and Colorado. And a 1-0 lead for San Jose over Tacoma. For a match that just kicked off at 8:03, 24 minutes ago, it's 2-1 New England over Chicago. 3 goals in the first 21 minutes of that match. That is the final match of the day. Chested down by Batiz on his left foot. Batiz denied by Finnerty. Second time that Batiz has been denied point blank by Owen Finnerty. Still made it count from the penalty mark back in the 50th minute. It's why we're tied. But Batiz had 2 opportunities to put Toronto ahead. Lorenzo D'Agostini takes the place of Brian Destin. I believe it's Finnerty, the goalkeeper, who needs the attention. Stoppage time could be a loftier number here in the second half. Seen a number of lengthy breaks in the action with some injuries. Looks like Finnerty's all right to continue.
The ball's good right there. They didn't move
the action now. Stefanovic, Stojadinovic. Falls for Catavolo. Give and go with Antonoglu involved. Some pressure here from D'Agostini, and he's called for the foul. Faria plays Antonoglu. Now Catavolo squares it back. Nobody was there. Shots to 9 in Toronto's favor, 7 shots on target to 3. Still 1-1 where it counts the most. Expected goals, though, now for Toronto have really crept up. 1.95 to Inter Miami's 0.89. And in the second half, it started to feel that way. Where the much better and more dangerous of the opportunities have belonged to the visitors from up north. Simorancic. Antonoglu back to Simorancic. D'Agostini wins it. Evades the first tackle attempt and then commits the foul. D'Agostini will pick up a yellow for his troubles here. Is there a hero here before we get the final whistle? Or are we headed to a bonus point shootout tonight? Batiz. Antonoglu. Batiz continues his run. Instead, it's Catavolo. Flag comes up on Catavolo. Very tight one. A hair off. '90th minute at Dry Pink Stadium. Should we head to a shootout, it would feel appropriate tonight. Actually, it was brought all the way back for a foul. Tried to let advantage play out, never materialized with the offside. So a free kick for Toronto. The way the majority of the first half went, and the way this second half has been played ever since Toronto scored the penalty. A draw through 90 might be deserved, although Jesus Batiz might not think so. Robbed twice by Owen Finnerty on breakaways. Antonoglu, his service over everybody. Beyond the 90-minute mark now, 5 minutes tacked on to the end of this one. Inter Miami doesn't have a shootout victory yet this season. They have one shootout loss. Toronto also does not have a shootout victory, and they also have one shootout loss. So both these teams only once have gone to the shootout this year. Here's Morales. Israel Boatwright. Tired legs perhaps setting in now. Perkovic gave chase, pressured enough such that Adam Perlman mishit it. Flicked on by Perkovic toward Morales. Perlman defending, taken by D'Agostini. Morales chests it down for D'Agostini. Here's Morales. Perkovic swings it back around through Caputo for Sarsar. Under 3 to go. Sesak. Perkovic heads it across frame. Perlman took it before either D'Agostini or Morales could do anything menacing with it. Great ball through for Sesak. Nick Sesak. All of a sudden, some life here late for Inter Miami, pressing for a winner. And all 3 points. Boatwright, loose in front. Meek, the overhead kick into the arms of Ranjit Singh. May have been a little clash of the heads in there as well. Play stops. Figure we'll play beyond the 95 now for the last minute and a half of inactivity. But it seems we are destined for kicks from the mark tonight. Will we play 95 or 97 or 99? These teams have been just deadlocked all evening long. Even when Inter Miami had a lead for a dozen minutes, always felt like Toronto would answer back. It's had been that back and forth of a cagey matchup between these teams. Maybe one last chance here. Stojanovic throws it forward. That ball stayed in for a while, eventually came out. There's Stojanovic throw incoming. Batiz looking through. Catavolo was taken down, but the offside flag came up. Morales runs onto it, ahead to D'Agostini. He goes down. A half-hearted penalty shout, not much there. Came more from the bench and even D'Agostini himself. And there's the whistle to end this one, but we have to decide who gets the bonus point, of course, so we will head to the shootout tonight. Just a reminder of how it all works. A little explainer for you. It's 1-1 after 90 between Toronto and Inter Miami.
There are no ties in MLS Next Pro. If a match ends in a tie at the end of regulation, the game will proceed directly to a shootout with kicks from the penalty mark.
That brings us to the point system. On the other side, a team will earn 3 points with a win at the end of regulation, 1 point for a tie, and 0 points for a loss in regulation. A club will earn 2 points if the game ends in a tie and they go on to win the shootout that Samara just explained following the end of regulation.
Hope you got all that. There will be a quiz at the end as these teams are set to decide who the kick takers will be. We'll see which end they kick at, who goes first, all that sorted out in just a moment. Both of these teams could do well by picking up the bonus point tonight, given their standing in the Eastern Conference. The bonus point for Inter Miami would bring them within 2 points of Philadelphia for 8th place. In Toronto right now, the bonus point would draw them level on 12 points with Chicago, but this Toronto team in a much better spot. They have multiple games in hand than some of the teams above them. They could still do some climbing. Inter Miami today playing their 14th match. They're the only team at 14 already. You look around the rest of the Eastern Conference, some teams on 10, some on 11, most on 12. So they'll be idle for a little bit. Just waiting to see how the rest of the conference shakes out. In the meantime, Inter Miami a week from today visits Huntsville. No easy task that. That match on June 18th will be their final match of June. So again, some time away for Inter Miami. You figure that would be the case for a team that's already played 14. And they'll begin July with a couple of home games against the Red Bulls and the Revolution. Toronto, on the other hand, they have a much busier end to the month of June. I mentioned just on June 18th for Inter Miami, but Toronto has 4 matches remaining in the month of June. Interestingly enough, the next match for both of these teams is Huntsville. For Toronto, it's Huntsville in the midweek, and for Inter Miami, it's Huntsville next weekend. And then Toronto, 2 of the final 3 to end the month at home. They host Atlanta next Sunday, a midweek turnaround on the road against New England, and then June 30th, they end at home against Crown Legacy. It'll be Toronto kicking first, down at the end of the stadium to your right visually. Players making their way down there. Goalkeepers, kick takers. We were briefed on how it all works and what they're playing for as far as the extra point. Just to reiterate, it is normal shootout rules. 5 kick takers, perhaps more if necessary, into sudden death. And it will be Anthony Kurich taking the first kick here for Toronto. Owen Finnerty has already faced a penalty today. It will be interesting to see if Jesus Batiz will step up to take one here in the shootout, being that he took one of them already in the match. You get the mind games in a situation like that. As a kick taker, do you go the same way? Goalkeeper thinking the same. Will he go the same way? Will he go the opposite way? So it does work both ways, that mind game. Well, it will be interesting to see if Toronto opts to have Batiz take a second one today. You know that Kurich is stepping up for the first one. 22-year-old made his MLS debut back on May 14th. Earned his 9th start of the season today. 1 goal to his name. to start us off. It's Curich. Goes the same way Baptiste did in regulation, and the same result. Just beyond the outstretched hand of an Owen Finnerty who gets the right way. Well placed, good power. Nick Sesak will take the first for Inter Miami. Sesak, just as calm as the other one was from Curich. We're 1-1. Sent the keeper the wrong way. Figure Ranjit Singh would have a slight advantage as far as the goalkeepers go. A few inches taller than Finnerty. Has 7 years of extra experience on Finnerty. As far as the kick takers go, mostly neophytes. Here's Matthew Catavalo, subbed on late. Has a goal this season. Catavalo, short run up. Good end result. All three kick takers so far have gone to the right of the keeper, left of the kick taker. Now it's Miles Perkovic, 16-year-old from the area. Earned his 6th start of the season tonight. Made 3 appearances, 1 start in 2022 at the age of 15. One of the more highly touted prospects coming up through the ranks right now for Inter Miami. Hesitates, right at the keeper. Ranjit Singh makes the stop. Inter Miami blinks first. Ranjit Singh did a good job of holding his water. Did not come off his line. Led to a retake. Temi Antonoglu will take the next one. 22-year-old. I spent most of this season in MLS and most of that on the bench. Just 3 appearances. Meanwhile, his 6th start of the season tonight in Next Pro. Had been a mainstay on the roster last year in Next Pro. 19 starts, 4 goals, 5 assists on the team that made the Eastern Conference Final. Has since graduated to the first team. Back on loan tonight. A chance to make it 3-1 in the shootout. Put it wide. Inter Miami can draw level once again. Back-to-back missed kicks between these teams. And he sent the keeper the wrong way. Did all that on the front end. Just failed to finish on the back end. And Joseph Conver's turn. Another teenager who's been a regular in the midfield for Inter Miami. He saw more time after the likes of Benjamin Kramaski, David Ruiz graduated to the first team over the last month. Here's Converse. Level again. 2-2, heading into the 4th round of the shootout. So we will see Baptiste when he scored back in the 50th minute from the penalty. He drove it with power to his left, Finnerty's right. It was about 2 feet off the ground, nestled into that corner. Finnerty's pointing in that direction here. The mind games continue. Slow run from Baptiste. He went the opposite way this time, but produced the same result. Finnerty took that first false step to his right, tried to work back left, but it was too late. Well, this is a big moment for the young Santiago Morales in his pro debut tonight. A lot of murmur about his quality for the U.S. Youth National Team, son of interim head coach Javi Morales with the Inter Miami first team. To bring us level again, Morales slows it down and has it stopped. Toronto can end it here. Waited for what seemed like an eternity in the end. Ranjit Singh makes his 2nd save of the shootout. And with a goal here, Adam Perlman will send us home and send Toronto back north of the border with the bonus point tonight. 18-year-old was in Canada's provisional roster last summer for the CONCACAF Under-20s. Didn't make the cut, but he's been a rock for Toronto. Perlman to end it over the bar. The game that doesn't want to end. Inter Miami could extend it to a 6th round with a goal here. Lorenzo D'Agostini is charged with extending this another round. Ranjit Singh has made 2 saves already. D'Agostini into a 6th we go. Who's next? Jordan Faria. Sub down in the second half for Toronto. 2 goals on the season for Jordan Faria. Hesitates in the run-up and tucks it away. Pressure back to Inter Miami. Have to score again to continue again. Israel Boatwright must score to keep it going. 17-year-old represented Dominican Republic at the Under-20 World Cup just a few weeks ago. Boatwright, quick run up, chips it, it trickles in. Not the cleanest Panenka. Still got over the line. Confidence oozing from the 17-year-old. Ranjit Singh just helplessly watched it as he had already committed. 7th round. Getting closer and closer to the keepers getting involved. Marcus Zimmermancic is the next one. Zimmermancic past the arm of Finnerty, who's upset at himself, felt he should have had it as he gets the right way, and exchanging some words now with Zimmermancic as he walks back up the field. So, for the 3rd consecutive round of the shootout, Inter Miami must score to keep it going. Toronto has yet to blink here in the late stages. Farid Sarsar will be the kick taker, the center back, 23-year-old. Made his 9th start of the season tonight. Sarsar walks up to it. Sarsar off the bar, that'll do it. Marcus Zimmermancic tucked away the last one. Sarsar misses this one, and Toronto picks up the bonus point tonight. Zimmermancic over to greet his goalkeeper. Ranjit Singh made a couple of saves in the shootout. And in the end, the winning penalty belongs to Marcus Zimmermancic. 1 goal, 3 assists on the season for the steady midfielder, Zimmermancic. And his impact today most felt on what turned out to be the match-winning kick from the mark, or the bonus point earning kick from the mark, I should say. And for that reason, he is tonight's Adidas Player of the Match, just beyond the outstretched hand of Owen Finnerty. Gets it done for Toronto. And we'll have a quick turnaround midweek against Huntsville. Inter Miami will wait until next weekend, next Sunday, to take on Huntsville to try and rebound from this shootout loss tonight. And that'll do it for us here from Dry Pink Stadium. For our entire MLS Next Pro broadcast crew, I'm Joe Malfa. Once again, it ends in the shootout with Toronto picking up the bonus point after a 1-1 score through 90. Don't forget, you can watch MLS Next Pro all season long at MLS Season Pass on Apple TV and MLSNextPro.com. Good night, everybody.
show may not be retransmitted, reproduced, or rebroadcasted without the express written consent of Major League Soccer.